Okay, for today's class, see, in yesterday's class, what we saw is that we saw how to calculate different factors associated with the stator, wherein we found how to calculate the dimensions of the stator slots. Now, as far as an induction machine is concerned, so an induction machine has got two parts primarily. Those two parts are, one is your stator, that is your stationary part, and to the stator you are supplying your power or supply. To the stator you are supplying your supply, and from the stator you have, in a three-phase induction motor, three windings that are coming out, that is R, V, and V. And these state in the inside the stator, a magnetic flux is getting induced because of the supply voltage, and this magnetic flux links with the rotor, and there is some air gap between the stator and the rotor, because they are not conducted, they are not connected. So there is no transfer of energy through what we say is called as conduction. So the process, because the name is induction, the process of the energy transfer and the rotation of the machinery is all because of the induction. So one critical factor in the induction motor design happens to be the length of the air gap. So there is definitely some separation between rotor and stator. If we see a simple transformer, in a transformer also you have a primary winding and a secondary winding, depending upon which type of transformer you are using. Like for example, if you are using a step up transformer, so step up means from 10 to 100 it will go. So primary to secondary winding ratio, it depends. So accordingly there would be some air gap, but as far as the transformer is concerned, the air gap is very less. Because the air gap is very less, because it's not the number one thing is that there is no rotatory part in a transformer, there is no rotatory part in a transformer. The second thing is the efficiency of the transformer, if you can see, is very high. In a normal transformer, the efficiency is always above 90%. And till date, the most efficient machine on the surface of Earth is your auto transformer. Now, we are to study here the length of air gap and how to determine the length of air gap and the main factors on which it is dependent. So when we are studying about the air gap, so the factors determining the length of air gap would be, see here, the length of air gap, the factors, the air gap length is one of the main factors which determines the performance of the machine, because how the magnetic flux gets established, it gets established by the supply voltage. So the strength of this magnetic flux getting induced in the stator winding is directly proportional to your supply voltage, and the magnetic flux getting induced, in turn, what it does is that in turn it further induces a rotor side voltage, and this rotor side voltage in comparison to stator voltage is how much you have studied in your previous classes also. Your, if for example your stator voltage is 400 volts, now you have to go for the rotor. E rotor would be slip times your E stator, and this slip is the relative motion between the magnetic flux of the stator and the rotor. So the air gap length is the main factor which determines the performance of the machine, as it's a part of the magnetic circuit. So the various factors influencing the length of the air gap, the number one factor that would be influencing the length of the air gap is the power factor of the various. See, what happens is that there are various rotating parts in the machine, and air gap, the air gap is a gap, and it consumes maximum ampere turns, because in the this air gap there are maximum number of ampere turns, that would mean mmf, required to magnetize the air gap. So this will increase the magnetizing current and reduce the power factor. So therefore, to have a good power factor, the air gap length must be kept small. Now I will explain you mathematically. See here. Let's understand this term mathematically. Now what happens is that, see here, my reluctance is equal to rho L by A. In the class also I have proved. So, or I can write L by mu A, where your rho is equal to 1 by mu. So if your MMF increases, your MMF is what? That F term which I used to draw, MMF is equal to flux into reluctance. So you can see MMF increases. If flux is constant, you have to increase your reluctance. Now your flux increases, your MMF increases. So this will happen. Your flux is what? Is an electrical equivalent of current. In the very first class I have told you, flux is electrical equivalent of current, voltage is your MMF is electrical equivalent of your voltage, sorry, magnetical equivalent of your voltage, and reluctance is your magnetical equivalent of your resistance. So your current Im, you can see, increases as your flux increases. Now your magnetic, this is your excitation current, I naught. This current depends upon two factors. One is the magnetizing current, okay, that is flowing in your reactance, and another is the loss component of the current that flows through the resistance. Because as far as your induction machine or any machine is concerned, you have, it is predominantly, it's called as induction machine because it's predominantly inductive in nature. But in the natural practical scenario, we don't find a pure inductor. Suppose there was a pure inductor, that is called, then there would be no resistance. If there is no resistance, then if you are transferring a current through it, there would be no loss. So hence there is a resistance term, there is a loss component involved. So there is a resistive loss. While transferring power also, we don't get 100% power, because in the wires which are transferring power, they are also having some amount of resistance, and because of that there is loss in power transfer also. So now this inductance, your power factor depends upon XL by I naught. Why I have written X, so IL by I naught. If you draw your power triangle also, in the power triangle, what you see, if you have like this, if you have R, I will use a pen if it works, I don't know. See, suppose type right, no. Suppose in my power triangle like this, I'm power triangle, you assume like this. So your perpendicular is what? Perpendicular, your base is your resistance, okay, your hypotenuse is your impedance, and this is your XL. So cos phi would be base resistance by Z, resistance by Z. So in the resistance, the current, that is IL, because this is a loss component. Hence I can write IL. If you see the drop, it would be IL. Now the total current in the impedance would be I naught. So your power factor cos phi naught is IL by I naught. So uh, you can clearly see your power factor is inversely proportional, because your, see here, your current would be your current would be directly proportional to your this V is equal to IR, or MMF is equal to phi m by R. So your current would be inversely proportional to your reactance, which in turn would be inversely proportional to the length of the air gap. So by comparing this equation and this equation, you can say that if my length of the air gap, if I increase, so it is inversely proportional to the power factor. So if I'm decreasing my length of the air gap, my power factor will improve. But this is not the only condition. See here, this is not the only condition. So number one thing we understood is that, so for power factor of the various magnetic parts of a rotating machine, the air gap, you see, consumes maximum ampere turns required to magnetize the air gap. So this increases the magnetizing current. So once magnetize and reduces the power factor. So in order to have a good power factor, the air gap length must be kept small. It should be always small. It should not be larger. But now there are other factors also which we have to keep into vigil, because these factors also are playing a vital role in designing the length of the air gap. But now let's come to the overload capacity. Overload capacity is, like for example, the induction motor has a load rating. Load, when we are speaking in terms of electrical thing, it can mean the connected load, the resistance which we are connecting, but more or less it signifies the amount of current that a particular quantity or a particular motor can bear. So load, whenever it comes into your mind, so load reflects your current. Load, how much current it can bear. So overload capacity, this capacity depends upon the zigzag leakage reactance. So zigzag leakage reactance, we are talking about the leakage reactance, is also called the zigzag leakage reactance, that forms a greater part of total leakage reactance. So once this value of the air gap we are keeping large, what happens is that this reduces the leakage reactance. So once the leakage reactance gets reduced, your overload capacity increases. So leakage reactance is XL, okay. And if you are happen to understand your voltage, or the reactive voltage that it needs to consume is I square XL, and the powerful voltage, that is the active voltage that it will consume, or the loss, it would be I square R. So if you are reducing this reactance, so this component will reactive component will naturally get reduced. And this happens only when there is the magnetizing current, that is your XL will only reduce when the magnetizing current reduces. And magnetizing current, when it will reduce, see, if you are keeping, essentially whenever you are thinking, imagine a stationary path a rotor make with your hand as some stator type of construction, and a rod like stuff, and that is a rotor. So in between there is some, in between there is some air gap. So there is some, this is your stator, and this is the rotatory part. So there is some air gap between the rotor and the stator. So this air gap between the rotor and the stator, in this air gap your EMF gets, or your MMF gets induced. So more the distance between this rotor and the stator, so more there would be difficult for the flux to establish induction process, and your flux will leaken, or weaken, sorry, it will weak, and hence the overload capacity will increase. So what you have to do is that, in order to get this overload capacity, more strength it can bear, so you create a larger air gap. So larger air gap means it can withhold larger current. Now one more thing is that the pulsation losses. So again, the pulsation, these are the factors that are governing the leakage reactance. Now the pulsation losses, the zigzag flux introduces pulsation losses, and noise. Now what are these pulsation losses? Means when you are operating a machine, so there will be some pulsations, and the larger the air gap, it will reduce the zigzag flux and reduces losses. Now we can explain mathematically. I want to show you. So variation in the flux depends upon your magnetic flux established. Now pulsation variation increases, results length of air gap is equal to, is directly proportional to your pulsation losses. See here, your reluctance is rho L by A, or you can say mu is equal to 1 by rho. So if you keep 1 by rho here, it will become rho L by A. So this formula you keep in mind. Now your flux is MMF by reluctance, because MMF voltage is equal to I into R. Okay, so this is nothing but V by R is equal to current. So this is the magnetic equivalent of electrical network. So now if you are reducing the flux and MMF you are keeping constant, in order to reduce the flux and with MMF kept constant, you have to increase your reluctance. You have to increase, your reluctance has to increase. Now in order for this reluctance to increase, now you see here reluctance depends upon factors like length, area, and your 1 by rho. Okay, so what you have to do is that in the numerical directly you increase the length. Now if the length of the air gap increases, your reluctance increases. Now once your reluctance increases, your flux in the air gap decreases. Less the flux, less would be pulsation losses. So you can see variation in the flux is proportional to your flux. Pulsation variation increases, results are that. So you can directly say that if you increase the length of the air gap, your pulsation losses decreases. Hence, to reduce the value of pulsation loss, the length of air gap should be more. So now you studied one thing, a very peculiar thing. One important thing what you studied is that your power factor will improve if you are keeping a small length of air gap. But the other factors like your pulsation losses decrease by keeping the air gap more. Similarly, you saw over here also. Another thing is that pulsation losses also decrease. Overload capacity also improves by keeping the length of air gap larger. Another thing that is, see, in an induction machine, there are two phenomena. One phenomena is called as crawling. So this crawling, why it happens is, it happens due to the third harmonic component. So the value for this higher harmonic, not third, fifth or seventh harmonic component. Why it happens? What are the harmonic stuff? Is that the whenever you are starting an induction machine, so you notice one thing: the stator. We are doing skewing or champering of the stator. That means the surface of the stator and the rotor teeth, these are not very smooth. We are cutting them at an angle of 45 degrees. If this corona ends and I'll take you to the lab, there also I can show you that the induction machine is cut at an angle of 45 degrees, the stator part, such that there is no interaction of the harmonics. Now it is cut at 45 degrees. This process is called as skewing. Now skewing in the induction motor is done to reduce the phenomena of crawling. Now when crawling happens in an induction motor, it happens due to the interaction of the 6n plus minus 1, you can say 6n plus minus 1. If you have a forward harmonics, it would be 7. In that ratio it is. If you have, these are odd harmonics, it can be 7, 9, 11, 13. If you have backward, it can be 5, like this it is. So this happens due to the interaction of the harmonic torques. And what happens is that your induction motor will start, but it will run at 1/7 of its speed. For example, it used to run at 1400 rpm. Now it will run only at 20 rpm, because if you have not chamfered or if you have not done proper skiing of the stator surface. Now one more important phenomena in induction machine is called as cogging. Now what is cogging? Cogging is like if the number of induction motor stator teeth and the rotor teeth are exactly same, or are they are in integral multiples of each other, what happens is that at the stator teeth and the rotor teeth will lock against each other and the induction motor does not start at all. So this is called as magnetic lock or cogging. So what we have to do is that we have to see that the induction motor should not be the integral multiples. We have to do a proper design, and to some extent skewing is also helpful in that particular thing. So now there is one more thing, another factor, that is unbalanced magnetic pull. So when we have a larger air gap, the length unbalanced magnetic pull will not be noticeable. See, if we have a smaller air gap, there would be a magnetic pull. So but if we have large, it won't be noticeable. Now a doubt arises in our mind. Oh no, at one time we want power factor to be improved. For power factor to improve, length should be less. Now for other factors, if we are seeing length of the air gap should be more. So now what design, how to design it? So over the years, with many statistical data, and the scientists have calculated and they have come up to an empirical formula, which of course how they have come up is not in the scope of your this syllabus, but the empirical formula for that happens to be your length of air gap. How they have chosen is, see, to hence to have a good power factor, the air gap length should be as small as for large overload capacity. See, less noise, less pollution losses, and less unbalanced magnitude, large air gap length is required. However, the power factor is the predominant criteria in fixing the length of air gap. See, of all these factors, the most important factor happens to be your power factor. So you cannot compromise, you cannot keep as large as your air gap length. So you have to consider, take into consideration, and they have arrived at one formula. So your length of air gap, they usually take zero point 0.2 into 2 root d into L. D is the dimensions, diameter, and the length, which we have seen in the previous classes also. This is for small machines. For large machines, they have come up with 1.6 root of d minus 0.25 for large machines, where 25 L, where d and L are in meters. So this was about understanding the concept of the different factors that are affecting the induction machine. So the different factors include your mechanical unbalance also. This also, large air gap. Large air gap results to avoid the mechanical unbalance. The length of the air gap should be large. Again, noise is also one factor. Now these were the essential factors and the criteria in the design of the induction motor. uh, Length of air gap. Now, length, after the length of air gap, we will come to the design of rotor bars and slots. So what are the main factors that are essential here in the rotor bars and slots? See, design of rotor bars and slots, the primary factor over here is rotor bar current, and area of rotor bar, shape and size of rotor slots, your slot insulation. So rotor bar current, how do we calculate it? See, for calculating the rotor bar current, let us suppose let M be M1 is equal to number of phases in stator. So we know it can be either a single phase machine or it can be a three phase machine. So M1 can be either 1 or it can be equal to 3 in case of a three phase machine. Now let Is is equal to stator current per phase. So if it is a single phase, so the per phase would be divided by 1. Now if it's a three phase, the per phase would be divided by 3. And let Ts be equal to the number of stator turns per phase. So this is number of stator turns per phase. And let Sr is equal to number of stator slots. So this number of stator slots is equal to number of rotor conductors. So the amount, the how many stator slots would be there, accordingly only you will design the stator conductors which need to be enclosed. So now it depends. In rotor turns, you have to divide it by 2. It cannot be number of stator turns cannot be equal to number of rotor turns, because you stator is one side and rotor is another side. So one part of it comes into picture. So there is a parallel path arrangement. Hence you are dividing it by 2. Now your IB is rotor bar current. So inside your rotor, there is some current that is your inside the rotor bar. If you can see the rotor bar, so on the stator side, one side only it is linking, another side it is coming out of out with that shaft and all. So total stator mmf, you can say mmf is ampere turns. So total stator mmf is your number of phases into is into ts. Similarly, like we did in our transformer, same thing I'm doing, current into number of turns I'm multiplying for mmf. So this is, and rotor mmf would depend upon your current inside the rotor and the number of turns. Now inside the rotor, how many number of turns are there? It is SR by 2, because this is number of rotor turns. So you can say that total rotor mmf is equal to IB into SR by 2. Now how much mmf from stator links to the rotor, because the efficiency is not 100%. Okay, so this in transformer also you can see your primary side voltage is and secondary side voltage is depending by this factor turns ratio. Here also you can see the primary side and the secondary side, there is a slip a distance between your stator and the rotor, and the efficiency of the induction machine is around 80 to 85%. So what we'll do is that, assuming rotor mmf is equal to 85% of stator mmf, let's assume this rotor mmf is how much? 85% of the stator mmf. So this rotor mmf happens to be 85% of the stator mmf. So we can write that your stator, see, rotor side mmf is ib into sr by 2, stator side mmf is 0.85 ms is into ts. Now for example, for a three phase induction machine, this m would be equal to 3. So we can write ib 0.85 3 into is ts sr by 2, we take this into the denominator. Finally we get ib is equal to 0.85 into this 2 goes up, it becomes 6 into is ts sr. So this was about how to calculate the current of ib is the rotor current. So another factor which we are interested in, the area of rotor bars. So similarly, area is calculated by current density. See, current density is given as rho b is equal to ia I, that is current by area. So if let AB is the cross section of each bar in millimeter square, IB is current through each bar. So rho B would be equal to current density for bars. And this is a statistical value which the scientists have calculated, and they have found it to be around 4 to 7 ampere per millimeter square. Here, with respect to current density, you have to be very, very peculiar, because this millimeter square, okay, if it is centimeter square, main dimensions are in meter. Centimeter square means per 10 power minus 4. This minus 4 will come, so you have to multiply with 10 power 4. If this is like given in meter, the main dimensions, it would be divided by 10 power minus 6. This per, if it goes up, it will become 10 power 6. So here you have to be very careful with respect to current density, and in the numerical problems, when you are substituting this value, you have to see what dimensions is here and what dimensions you require for the length to calculate. So this current density and the area AB is equal to IB by this thing. So shape and size of rotor slot. So there are different shapes and sizes. This is the earlier formula only. This is the reluctance. If you decrease, you have to decrease the length. This is your mu A, where mu is equal to 1 by rho. So these are different shapes. One shape you are seeing, this is the circular shape, cylindrical shape, one more shape. So what happens is that for small machines, like small machines are less than 10 kilowatt. So for small machines, what we use is that closed slots are used, because here reluctance of flux path is minimum owing to absence of slot operating. For medium or large machines, see, this is closed slots. For medium and large machines, this is for small machines. This is one closed slot. This is again a closed slot. Now you can see this is open slot. This is the open slot. Now this is for medium and large machines. For medium and large machines, semi-closed. See, semi-closed slots are used, and slot. So these are for semi-closed. So this is not completely closed. So this is semi-closed. This is totally closed. Here you see some closure is there. Now I hope you have understood today's class. So can I ask you some questions? Hello? Someone is there? Rajat. Rajat, I'm marking you absent. Rajat, Santosh.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Rajat, so you tell me, for a this large machine, what type of slot we will use? Closed or open?
Closer, sir.
Huh? Closed slots will use for a
Closer,
large.
sir.
Closed, huh?
Sir?
That is wrong. You are not listening. Please listen. For a
yes sir.
large machine, we are using
Open
semi
open type sir.
semi closed. You are not listening. You're not there in the discussion. Santosh, Santosh. I'm marking him also absent. This Santosh is not present here. So because I'm not finding you, and only 22 are there, so Santosh is also not there. This another fellow. What is your name? Yeah, Anil Kumar. No, Anupam, Shivram.
Present, sir.
Um, okay, switch off your mic. Are you understanding? Are you following? Vanishri, are you following? Viramani? Viramani? Okay. Now you have a homework problem. Those of you will be doing the homework from tomorrow onwards. Only those people I'll be taking into consideration, because you are not uh, really. Now you can see. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Now you can see my this PDF.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Now this is the homework problem for you. You have to do this problem tomorrow, and because I'm seeing that you are not very much interested. Some of you have just opened it, and because it's getting recorded, left somewhere. Okay, now this homework problem is, see, determine the diameter on length of stator.
Sir, sir,
Yeah, now
my
close
mic
your,
is sir.
now close your
Hello.
this thing. Close, mute your mics. Now listen to this homework problem. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I'll be leaving you with this homework problem, and I'll finish my class. So determine the diameter on length of stator core of a 70 HP 415 volt 50 hertz 3 phase 6 pole stator connected induction motor, for which specific electrical loading is 32,000 ampere conductor per meter, and your full load efficiency is 90%, power factor is equal to 0.91, and ratio of core length, that is length to pole pitch, is unity, that is L by Z, Z is pi d by p, okay, is unity. Estimate the number of conductors are arranged in two parallel path choose choose the suitable number of conductors choose the suitable number of conductor per slot choose the suitable number of conductor per slot such that the slot loading does not exceed 550 ampere per conductors does not exceed 550 ampere per conductors. So in this particular thing, first I'll give you the hint is what, like your power, power is 70 HP. Now your stator voltage is 415, frequency is 50 hertz, three phase number of poles is mentioned is 6, okay, and stator for see, and this is a Y connected stator. See here, data on the pole pitch 6 pole star connected. See here, it is star, it's not stator, it is star. Here some mistake in the writing, it is star connected. You write down star, not stator connected, star connected. So star means Y connected. Now in the earlier case it was delta connected, so your line was equal to phase. But when you are taking this phase voltage, line voltage, it would be 415 divided by root 3, because it is Y connected. You cannot take as it is. Okay, that is one important consideration while you are taking this voltage. And your BAV is equal to 0.51 Weber per meter square. So that is also mentioned here. So BAV is equal to 0.51 Weber per meter square. Ampere conductor is 32,000 ampere conductors per meter. Your efficiency 90% means 9 by 90 by 100. So 90 by 100 would be zero point 0.9. Okay. Your power factor cos phi, they have given 0.91. Your L by Z ratio is 1. Z is pi d by p. And your A is equal to 2 number of parallel paths. Now your the loading Iz by ZSS has to be less than 550 ampere conductor. Just like the problem which we have done yesterday, I want you people to do this problem on your notebook or anything. And in the end of tomorrow's class, only those people who will be presenting me this problem, I will be giving attendance. Until and unless you are not solving this problem, I am marking you absent. Maybe you are, because you have to individually share screen with me. I'll be asking, I'll take 15-20 minutes. I don't, because the our aim is to give you some this thing knowledge, not simply come over here, say something, you will be roaming around here and there. What is the fun in that? Because it is two to three times work. First of all, we have to make individually, then present it, and then you are not getting it, only you are taking it very lightly. It does not look good. So you have to go about this homework problem, and those people who will be sharing the screen with me, for them only. Otherwise, I'll completely, I will talk with the management that the people, students are not very serious. So you take this problem again, I will read it for you. You can write it also down. Again, this problem I will read it for you. Determine the diameter on length of stator core of a 70 HP, comma 415, 50 hertz, three phase, six pole, star connected, not stator. That's why I read it. Star connected induction motor for which specific electrical loading is 32,000 ampere conductor per meter. Your full load efficiency is 90%. Your power factor is 0.91 and ratio of core length to pole pitch is unity. Estimate the number of estimate the number of conductors are arranged in two parallel paths. Choose the suitable number of conductor slots such that the slot loading does not exceed 550 ampere per conductors. Your hint also I have given is the total poles are 70 HP. Your stator voltage is 415, but you have to be careful because the star connected. So the voltage which you have to take is 415 divided by root 3. Your frequency is 50 hertz. Your three phase, it is a three phase machine. Your number of poles are 6. It's a Y connected machine. Your average flux density, which is missing over there, you can take it as 0.51 Weber per meter square. And your ampere conductors are 32,000 ampere conductor per machine. Your efficiency is zero point 0.9, although it's mentioned 90%, that is 90 by 100 is zero point 0.9. And your cos phi is 0.91. Your L by Z ratio is unity, that is equal to 1. Z is pi d by p. A is equal to 2 is the number of parallel paths. Iz by Zs should be less than equal to 550. Just like yesterday you have done, like that you have to do. Now I'll revise my class, what we have learned, and I will conclude. So essentially what we saw is that what are the essential factors that govern the power, this length of air gap. So the length of air gap is the distance between the stator and the rotor conductors inside the induction machine. So this length of air gap is governed by many factors, like your power factor is one of the factors, your overload capacity, the noise, mechanical balance, your pulsations, and other important factors. Of all these other important factors, from your, what you say, your power factor, your overload capacity, your pulsation losses, your unbalanced magnetic pull, your noise, your mechanical imbalance, power factor plays to be a predominant role. All the other factors are improving if you are increasing the length of air gap, but your power factor will increase only when you are reducing the length of air gap. So to put a balanced view, the scientists over the years have done many experiments and have arrived for small machines length of the air gap should be zero point 0.2 plus root 2 dl, and for the large machines it should be 0.16 root d minus 0.25. So here the d and l are in meter, and similarly these are the calculations based upon your flux and reluctance. and which we have already seen. This you can also do. If your reluctance you increase, what happens is that if you are keeping a constant, your reluctance is increasing, so your flux is increasing. Your flux is your mmf is increasing, and inversely your flux decreases when your reluctance increases if you are keeping your mmf constant. And your this reluctance depends upon your length. So increase the length, your reluctance increases because it's numerically proportional. So these things you can at your home also, because I'm going to upload also. If you have having any doubt, you can tell me. Are you having any doubt, any portion?
No, sir. No,
No,
sir. All clear.
no. If you are having any doubt, you can just tell me. So I hope you are.
Nothing, sir.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's very clear. One PDF also I have shared with Viramani and Thara. So because most of you had a doubt like Sahani is a very big book or something like that. So one PDF, once I was browsing through internet, I downloaded one PDF.
Yes,
So
sir, we
I
have.
found it is more than sufficient for your video examination. So you can take that as a textbook. And if you have any doubt, because I found it was very well written. Did you find that? Have you shared it? Everything is clear in that.
Yes, sir.
If you are having
No,
any,
sir.
so Thara, please share with everyone. Huh? That
Yes, sir.
PDF, please share with everyone. Whoever is not having, you can contact Thara or Viramani, and they will share the PDF.
We
Take
give
that PDF.
PDF, sir.
Uh, Take that PDF as a textbook. In that PDF, we have entire thing, entire all the EMD portions from chapter 1 to, for all 5 modules are there in that. So you
Okay,
can
sir.
take this as a textbook, and in between which I'm teaching, that also you can learn. So for your better understanding, it would be like that. But don't try to slog just before one night or one day before the examination. That is not going to work. That is not going to work in especially I think design if you pass also, but subjects like DSP it is not going to work. And other subjects like
Yeah, sir. DSP is very tough, sir.
no, I'll tell you now, because you don't have those elementary concepts like Laplace transform, other factors like exponential. Your mathematics part is not there. So try to you have got a lot of free time there. Instead of wasting your time and playing around, you can try to form some good habits, or try to exercise in this particular time, try to sleep properly, and try to learn some new things apart from your books. Try to develop a habit of reading any other books also. It can be spiritual, it can be books related to sports, because when you develop an habit of reading other books, so if you can read the other books, so it will be, you will be very comfortable reading your course related books. And try to develop reading skills. That is very essential. And try to develop your communication skills. Try to improve your vocabulary, your grammar. Now Cambly app is there. Like you can also download that app, and you can practice your English skills, because today in the market, most important
Which app,
one,
sir?
Cambly app is there. Cambly. Today in the market, the most important thing in getting the job is your soft skill. One book I was reading from Charles Alexander Sadico, although it is a very good book, Fundamentals of Electrical Engineering, from Charles Alexander Sadico. So in that book, one quotation he has put. The quotation, you know what it says? The quotation says, if you cannot communicate how much ever knowledge you have, it is useless. So the most important skill in today's arena and scene is that you should be very good in communication. You cannot hide behind your, like, I am from this particular community, or I'm coming from this village where schooling was not there, I am from Kannada medium or Hindi medium. You see, you have to come out of it. Now you are in CMRIT. Now you have to learn what are your
Yes, sir.
shortcomings that you have to eradicate. See, this world is very cruel. This world will not see. If you have shortcomings, let
Yes,
it be.
sir. Telpain, sir.
It is it is
Yes, sir.
it is survival of the fittest. It is
Yes,
survival of
sir.
the fittest. So I'm telling you, this is the time you can go practice from Cambly app, download vocabulary, and practice a little bit of mathematics, and try to engage yourself. Okay, And please pay attention whenever there is a lecture. First 10 minutes and the last 10 minutes are very vital. In between, if you are getting bored, everyone does not have that attention span. That in normal attention span of a person is 30 minutes or 15 minutes at the max he can focus. Oh, so hope you have liked my class and your understanding. So I'm going to conclude my class. For attendance, for attendance, I'm taking the attendance. 36 people are there. Okay. So I have told you. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.